Hey everybody, Karyn Bryant with you, and today I've got kicking back with me Adrian Yanez, who is victorious after his win over at UFC Vegas 92 over Vinicius Salvador, and it was a TKO in the first round. It was absolutely incredible. How good did that one feel?
Oh yeah, it felt real good, especially getting my hand raised. That was the
Yeah.
best part. I'm happy, but not satisfied. Can't wait to go back. Can't wait to get back in the gym and start working on the things that I knew I screwed up in that fight. So yeah, just want to get better.
It looked pretty. It looked pretty commanding. It looked like you had everything in control. What didn't you do right?
I didn't do any of the setups. Like I like the game plan, like the attack, the ways to attack. I completely just threw out the window. Uh, we had like so many different lines of attacks
Uh-huh.
that we had set, and then I got overzealous with the one overhand right.
Yeah.
I got overzealous with it, and it worked. But once I settled down a little bit, and then
Yeah.
kind of just let the way that we wanted to attack happen, like
Mhm.
that's how I ended up getting the finish. But I got too overzealous in that moment because there's a moment in that fight, like right before the fight start, that we're like everything just kind of was just like went out the window because I felt like a change from who he was on Wednesday to who he
Uh-huh.
was like stepping in that cage. I was like, oh, this is my moment. I got to get after him. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so did he see what was it? Like you he didn't fill out as much or his body language was different? Like what was different about him?
Oh yeah, I feel like it was more body language. Like
Yeah.
on Wednesday when we did the face offs, like he looked fearless. Like
Yeah.
I looked him in his eyes and he looked completely fearless. Like he actually took the extra steps to get closer into my face and all that stuff. I
Hmm.
just remember just being like, okay, he's gonna bring it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. It's gonna be fun. But once we got in that cage and like right before they were about to ring the bell, I could just remember just seeing it looked like he had like a little bit of a nervous energy to him. And I remember looking at him. He's kind of just like hands like, okay, cool, we're gonna touch hands. But then I saw his face and it was just like wasn't the same guy I saw on weigh-ins. I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm imposing my will right now. That's like so. As soon as I saw that and I felt it, it's like, all right, I'm getting after him. And
Cool.
yeah, it was just like I sensed it. It was like a weird little feeling that I sensed. Like, all right, cool. I'm gonna push the pace. I'm gonna put him on the back foot immediately.
Nice. Well, that's very cool that you could make that read, but I
Mm.
I will say the one thing, and now knowing your mindset, that explains it, because I will say there was one thing where we were like, is he headhunting too hard though? Like it, because we knew going in, how important it was for you to get a win and how you want to return to form and all that. And so the one thing that made some people nervous was like, are you, not that you're trying too hard, but you know
Mhm.
what I mean? It was like we all knew what you were going for, we all knew what you wanted, and you were so focused on getting it that sometimes when you're in pursuit of something so singularly, like you're missing the things that are coming back at you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know, 100%. Like me, like going back and watching that fight, I'm just kind of just like rubbing my face, like, oh my goodness, like bro, why? Like, do we everything like again? Like that was the overhand right. The way we set it up is the way I
Yeah.
fit. Like the way we finished the fight. Yeah, that was perfect. But everything else after that was like not a part of the game plan. I was just like, all right. Like I just went up there and just started like I felt like I could see it too. Like
Yeah.
uh he was fast, but I could
Mhm.
see everything, and I'm just like, oh, like I just saw like I saw like money signs in my eye every single time. Like he threw a punch, like, oh, it's there, it's there.
Yeah.
Uh, then I had to collect myself for a second. I was like, all right, well, let me calm down. Let me like, this is gonna go a little bit longer than what I thought. And then, like how I had that feeling in that moment, I was like, oh yeah. But I once I calmed myself down, I was like, oh, there it is, and was able to catch him. But yeah, no, like looking back at that fight, I'm just like, oh, I was like, man, this, like. I know I'm better than that. I know I can fight way better than that. I was just
Yeah.
loading up on right hands, and I should have set it up a lot better.
But with great risk comes great reward. So and I wonder too if some of those reads and some of that timing and all that comes from the facts that you did just come off those two fights, and yeah, they didn't go your way, but they were against high quality opponents, Font and Martinez, and you probably did learn a lot of those, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like I learned a lot. Cause again, like I actually used some of the stuff that in the font fight,
Hmm.
the mistakes I made to the advantage for me. In a sense of like
Nice. Yep.
he was very elusive. I was like, like I was seeing where he was at, like where he puts himself out of position, where can I capitalize on this, even though I was like just like throwing like hellacious rights over over and over again, like I was still like there's moments where I was watching where his feet would be at. Like,
Yeah.
because a lot of times he would get squared up, he moves straight back. His feet can only move so far, like his head can only move so far back if
Mm-hmm.
his feet are still in place. He has,
Mm-hmm.
like, again, great upper body movement, but a lot of times that he fell into the same trap against a lot of these guys, and beforehand, it's just they weren't able to capitalize it because I don't know if they saw it in that moment, but I was
Mm-hmm.
able to, like, I was rewatching his fights. It's like, oh man, I can catch him in the same area that like again, like this is where I got caught before. I can do the same to him,
Yeah.
So and then even then, like from what I was seeing, is that a great kicker like Jonathan, like there's little details that you can take away from that.
Yeah.
And he was throwing the inside cut kick, but again, like he wasn't trying to create the angle that Jonathan was to really get a solid kick. And every single time he brought his foot back, his foot placement would be back into like a stationary position instead of movement. And he would just kind of move his head, like just start moving his head straight back. And I was like, okay,
Uh-huh.
I just got to take that extra step in, touch with the lead hand, extra step in, and just throw the overhand right. And that, again, that's the one that finished him. So I was able to
Mm-hmm.
take from both my losses, take the positive out of it and actually use some stuff that was used against me to use on them.
That's it, and that's how you get fight IQ, right? That's how you learn. That's how you grow.
Mhm.
It's awesome. And it was cool to see. That was a big ask for him to come up and weight to face somebody
Mhm.
like you. So that is something to really to consider. But you said some things in the interview afterwards that you admitted that you kind of got away from yourself, right?
Mhm.
That you because you did start out so incredible. First 5 fights, bonuses. 4 of those are performance bonuses. One of them's fight of the night. You had that incredible knockout over Tony Kelly, and like you everything was just like humming along. You had your baby boy, like it's all good, right? So
Mhm.
is that what happened? You just literally got caught up in your own hype?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caught up in my own hype, and then also too, I just got way too comfortable.
Yeah.
I got way too comfortable in my position that I was in. I was like looking, I was like, man, this is great. This is amazing, and all great things in my personal life were starting to happen. And
Hmm.
in fighting, everything was great. So it was like I got way too comfortable, kind of sat back, and I was like, you know what? I find also too, what kind of made it was like my training partner had noticed it, but he was
Hmm.
like, I stopped doing the work that I needed to do because I had coaches. I had just like now that I got coaches and I started pulling back on some of the stuff that I was doing because I was like, oh, I don't have to do as much. I started pulling
Hmm.
myself back, and he was like, yeah, that was like this is what all kind of wrapped up. Oh, like once we gave our overall look, he's like, yeah, that's actually what kind of did you in because like you got comfortable. You started looking like you have coaches, but you stopped doing your work that got you there. So I was like, yeah, no, that's true because you can sense it, you can feel it. And I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, I stopped doing a lot of stuff that I did. Like I started looking at the overall, just the camps itself, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, got away from myself. Like, yeah, like I got coaches, and I kind of got like I got a little bit lazier, in this camp, and I
Hmm.
like it. I got the whole like. I was like, no, I'm not letting it happen again. Because again, like if I would have lost this fight, this would have been like that would have been like almost like a swan song for me. I'd be like, all right,
It's
so,
been good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, guys, it's over. But because again, like
Yeah.
if I was losing to guys like a guy like nothing bad to say about Salvador or anything like
Yeah.
that. But like again, he's still fairly new to the UFC and all that stuff. If I would have probably lost to that guy, I would have been like, hey, like you gotta start like looking elsewhere, man. It wouldn't have been a good talk with the management and all that stuff. So for me, like I'm glad, happy. So I put
Hmm.
my all into this and making sure that I was gonna check everything off. I was like, no, if I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna do. I'm like, man,
Hmm.
I noted everything down from his past couple fights, and making sure that I did everything correct, like everything correct, even to the commentary. I actually even after watching this last fight with Vergara, like
Hmm.
I saw Dean right after. I was
Oh,
like,
nice.
I remember seeing, like, I remember you talking about it. Like, man, a lot of these guys, they end up just sparring Salvador, and I wanted to know, like, I wanted him to know that, like, man, like, I'm fighting you, bro, like immediately, like I'm not letting you get comfortable because a lot of times he got comfortable in those exchanges with those guys, and I was like, nah,
Mhm.
it's like I'm not letting you get comfortable at all. So yeah, that was one thing that was like every minute detail, like every minute detail was like making sure that I was like, no, like I'm picking up on this, I'm doing this, like I'm not like nothing is gonna go past me right now. I have to make sure I capitalize on everything because again, if I was on the flip side, it would have been a wrap.
Yeah, it would. I don't know if it would have been a wrap, but it would have been really, really tough. It would have been really tough. But everything that you just said is so interesting because I literally just like an hour ago read this quote and I was like, I love that quote, and I wrote it down. And it's literally everything you just said. It was a Bear Bryant quote, and it's not about the will to win, it's about the will to prepare to win. And that's exactly what it
Yeah,
sounds like. You know, we all want to win. Who's doing the work? And
yeah.
you started shaving off the work and you got the results from
Hmm.
shaving off the work. You know, it's like it's real. So
Oh yeah.
at least you learned that lesson early enough. That's another we were saying at work. Like you did come out on a tear and you learned that lesson. I hope, you know, I think early enough in your career that you can put it behind you and then just pick up that momentum that you had before.
Oh yeah. No, that was something I know for myself I needed to do because again,
Hmm.
like the other side wouldn't be so pretty for me. So I was like, nah, I can't have that. Like I got a lot riding on this.
Yeah.
Like I have like so many things. Like again, like I again even to this point where it's like what am I going to do? You know, like
Hmm.
I what am I gonna do like 10 years from now? Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this fight came up, but I didn't prepare the way I should have prepared, you know, like so I ended up taking the loss or anything like that, something like that, you know, and just like me knowing at the end of the day, 10 years from now, I was like, I didn't put my all into it. I was like, no, I'm gonna put my all into this because again, it's like 10, 15 years from now, I don't want to be looking back at my career and be like, damn, you know, if I would have done this differently. He's like, no, I'm gonna do it differently now because I know I have the ability to do it. So yeah, I'd rather if I did everything at 100% and lost, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
If I kept my 2023 rolling into 2024, I know I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So like because again, like I'm very like harsh on how I look at like everything I do, like in my career and all that stuff. So, uh, I know I'd be super harsh later on in life. So,
Yeah.
uh, for my mental health,
Yeah.
I need to do everything I need to do.
Cool, good. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. And you know, you then after your fight, you went out to help everybody, right? So, what's the latest update in that and everything in your hometown? Are hopefully things are improving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff is improving.
Yeah.
But thankful. Like I'm man, I just seen how much Trey like in the relief gang, like how
Hmm.
much they do for the city and the people. Man, it's absolutely amazing. Like they're the ones that are actually putting in a lot of work. You know, I showed up on
Yeah.
Monday. It was like almost like an impromptu. He called me on Sunday, and I was like, I had already accepted interviews, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do it. And then also he calls like, hey, it's like we're going out Monday. It's like, all right, well, all right, cool. Like, let me let Ed know.
Yeah.
I gotta go. They need help. So I was like, okay. Went out. Man, there was a lot of places where like it like roads were like cut in half because of huge trees were covering. It looked like I remember
Hmm.
the first place that I went to looked like a dead end, but it wasn't a dead end. It was just a knocked over tree that made it look like a whole forest on that side. And I'm like, damn. So I was like,
Oh my God.
had to swing around, and then I saw a trade, and they're over there cutting down trees and all that stuff, making sure that they're
Yeah.
able to uh make it better. There's trees that fell on houses. Even in downtown Houston, there's roads that are blocked off just because of uh the tall buildings
Hmm.
they still have glass falling off still at this
Oh
moment. So
man.
it's like there's like people are scared to go down in downtown just because
Hmm.
again like a lot of windows blew out. They're scared of glass falling
Yeah.
off and all that stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. But one thing that I was like really proud to be a part of was that Monday was just kind of just following Trey and like wherever he needed an extra helping hand, I was there trying to give it to him, man. And a lot of people came out and put their best foot forward and got a lot of stuff done, man. Some of these houses had trees knocked over on them, and it just yeah, like some of these we couldn't even get to. We needed an actual like some bigger saws, so luckily
Right.
I think he
Right.
got in contact with some people that would be able to move around these bigger trees. So
Mm.
and a lot of these people were really like praising him, just like because they like some of these neighborhoods aren't the best neighborhoods whatsoever. So a
Yeah.
lot of they're a lot of them are you know I had better ways to say it, like they don't want to go to that side
Right.
of the
Yeah.
town.
They're lowest on the totem pole. Nobody's looking to help them. And yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that one sentiment that I heard a lot was Trey, like they forgot about us. Like,
Hmm.
man, like thank you for coming, man. Everybody was super grateful. Was super grateful, man. And
Cool.
I was really blessed to have that experience because, like, man, that was like really eye opening, especially for that moment. I never really got the chance to do anything like that because usually
Mhm.
before like Hurricane Harvey, like I had to take care of my family, make sure I was with them, and
Yeah.
like my side of town got flooded, so I was flooded in with everybody.
Yeah.
And then all those other times before that was like a big natural disaster. Uh, like I was still kind of young. I was still
Hmm.
young, didn't know
Yeah.
what to do myself. So for a lot of those times, like this was like the first actual time I actually got to go out there and help, and just seeing everybody and
Mhm.
just seeing all the help that people needed. So yeah, like it was a blessing I was able to go do that for them, man. But it's still kind of just like one of those things where like, man, it kind of still saddens me
Yeah.
that they don't get all the help that they need.
It's a real heartbreaker, but I'm thankful that you did that. I'm sure the people are, and that really just shows a lot of character. And I mean, a lot of people on the Monday after their fight would be out drinking, partying, whatever. Now, that can come this weekend or
Yeah.
whatever. So that is really admirable of you to do that. One thing I'll say before you go is watching your fight. The one thing I was a little concerned with was there were shades of KJ Noons with the hair and like you're pulling your shorts. And I was like, Adrian, you might need a haircut because it was a thing like back in the day. KJ
Yeah.
would like, be fixing his hair or something. And you've seen it like, or somebody goes to pick their shorts and like they get popped or whatever. And so I was literally with the hair. I was like, oh no, like you got to get that out of your way or whatever. Like you got to make sure that doesn't turn into an issue.
Yeah, no, my mom was like immediately was saying the same thing. She was like, "You're
Yeah.
wasting energy fixing your hair." I was like, "You need to stop. You need to get a haircut." And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. Like my hair was like again, it's just one of those things. Like I got a haircut the week of the fight, but
Yeah.
again, like I at the time I was letting it just like fro out. Like again, like even before my last fight, I get into this mode where I just let it grow out, and I was like, all right, cool, we'll take some off the top, and
Yeah. Like I'm not
apparently
mad at that, obviously.
I was like apparently some off the top, and look, like I don't think off the top was all that far off, like he because before the fight, like it was like kind of coming like in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
So there's parts in training camp where like it was actually in my eyes, but this one, I guess he cut some thinking it was enough, and it was
Right.
getting back in my face. Like, okay, well, so for me, it didn't bother me so much, but
Yeah.
I understand. Like I was like, Mom, it's gonna be okay, Mom, it's gonna be okay. I didn't waste enough energy. It's all right. She's like, oh yeah, you doing this? You're wasting all the energy that you need to punch the guy. I'm like, Mom, it's all right. It's all right, Mom.
That's funny though. That's good. Next time, well, you can always do the little ponytail or the thing. It's like, yeah, I like your style, but I just don't like it getting in the way of the fight. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
that's
on your
true.
mom's side. That is funny. All right, so cool. So with this like reset now, with the win, with everything like back on track, I feel like you were probably backstage going like, "Yo, give me another fight," right?
Oh yeah, they were like I was getting asked when do I want to come back, and I just told them I
Yeah.
was like, man, like definitely July, September, like July through September. Any of
Hmm.
those times would be nice for me. Like I'm fairly unscathed on anything. The only
Yeah.
thing I just need to do is probably put some ice and got a couple bruises. That's about it. But
Yeah.
that'll resolve over here pretty soon. So for me, I'm good to go. I'm ready to go whenever. Uh,
Uh-huh.
had a couple names, but like again, like it's just one of those things that like I'm just ready to get back in there as close as I can get to guys who are in the top 15. Because
Hmm.
again, like I was just there. I got the feeling of the number next to my name. Now I really want it there. So whatever opportunity to get me into that, get back there. So that's what I want.
Nice, very nice. Well, I'm sure it will happen, and yeah, yeah, you're back on track, and it's a wonderful thing to see. So, congratulations on the win, and literally, thank you so much for helping out in your town, and I'm sure everybody appreciates it. And just thank you for the entertainment because Man, it's fun watching Yañez fight. Like, it's just so fun. It's just so fun. So I'm really glad to see you, and I appreciate you had some time to talk today. So yeah, just wish you the best.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. This is like I love doing these.
Cool. I hope to see you soon.